Welcome to the Gene Policini Center on the campus of the Rochester Institute of Technology, where tonight the puck will drop on the final series of the regular season. The Air Force Academy is back in Rochester for the first time in 3 years. This weekend is their playoffs, as the Falcons won't be a part of the AHA postseason tournament, which begins next week. For Carter Wilkie and the Tigers, it's a series to get ready for the postseason as they'll begin their quest for a fourth Atlantic Hockey Championship as the league's top seed. That comes up next week. Good evening, I'm Kevin Roach, and welcome to RIT Hockey Pre-Game Live. Well, last weekend, the Tigers needed just 6 points to wrap up their first regular season Atlantic Hockey Championship since the 2011 season. RIT hosting Bentley here at the Policini Center last Friday night, late first period, following a Bentley hooking penalty. RIT on the power play. Watch the great look here. Cody Leskoski to Kobe Walker, who finishes it 1-0 RIT after one. Bentley spent a lot of time in the box last Friday night. In fact, all weekend long, and late in the second, RIT takes advantage. Kobe Walker again, his second of the night. 2-0 Tigers after two. Third period, under 9 minutes to play. And guess what? RIT on the power play again. Cody Leskoski fires it and scores. Bentley actually knocked it in, but Leskoski gets credit for his 11th on the season. It was 3-0. Final seconds, Bentley pulled Connor Hasley. Kobe Walker finishes it with the empty netter to complete the hat trick. Tigers took game one of the series by a 4-0 margin. Game two last Saturday, we were scoreless late in the second period before Bentley finally got on the board. Cole Codsey in front, takes the feed, puts it past Tommy Scarfoni. It was 1-0 Falcons. Third period, Bentley gets some extra cushion as the shot deflects off a skate in front and by Scarfoni. Some puck luck there for Bentley. They led by 2. Under 4 minutes to play, RIT pulls Scarfoni for the extra attacker, and it pays off. Calvin Boots putting home the rebound, number 5 on the year for him. Tigers back within 1. Final seconds, RIT trying to get the equalizer, but they can't get a shot off late here. As time expires, Bentley earns a split of the series. They win game 2 by a final of 2-1 last Saturday night. As we take a look inside the numbers following last Saturday's loss, Aiden Hansen-Bucata tallied his team-leading 27th assist of the season on that late goal by Calvin Boots. And how about Tommy Scarfoni? Made 35 stops, his 11th 30-plus save performance of the season. He's going to be a big guy they're going to rely on come next week when the postseason begins. Despite not picking up the 6 points last weekend, there was reason to celebrate following the loss to Bentley last Saturday. Sacred Hearts lost at Canisius, which allowed the Tigers to clinch the number 1 seed in the AHA regular season championship. For the 5th time in program history, allowed for the team to take a photo with the corner crew following last Saturday's game. The Tigers end their drought with a regular season title for the first time since 2011. RIT has now captured more regular season championships than any other school in the league. AIC has won 4. Air Force, Holy Cross, Mercyhurst, and Robert Morris all have 2, while Army, Canisius, Niagara, and Quinnipiac, who now plays in ECAC, they have all earned 1 title along the way. So with everything locked up and pointing towards next weekend's quarterfinal series against an opponent still to be determined, how did the Tigers approach this series with Air Force here tonight? With more on that and the state of the Tigers, our John DiTullio standing by live now with RIT head coach Wayne Wilson. Johnny.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. How do you approach this weekend? We were just talking, Wayne. Neither team really has anything to play for, so how do you and your boys approach tonight and tomorrow?
Yeah, we're playing, I guess, for momentum and to clean up areas of game that we want to get better at for playoffs. So you can always get better every game, and you always learn something a little bit more, but it doesn't have that same edginess that, isn't that regular season championship on the line and Air Force is up for it and all that. So it is a little bit different. But I do know both teams will play hard. We're expecting a real good Air Force team here tonight, and we've got to bring our game because we want to get momentum going into the playoffs.
Speaking of your game, how do you like the way your team is playing here with the playoffs just a week away?
Yeah, we won the first game last weekend 3-0. I thought, or 4-0, pretty. Not convincingly, but very solid. And the next night, 2-1, we created enough chances. I thought the game got a little loose in the second period there for about 8 minutes. I'd like to get those 8 minutes back, but we just lost a little bit of our focus at that time. So we got to play a complete 60 minutes, and we're just keep going over the things that we've been going over all year long. So it's nothing different, just we want to get better in all areas.
Your lineup stay the same? Do you tweak because there is nothing to play for? Do you keep everything the same?
We're basically the same without Kobe Walker with his kneecap injury there. We won't have him this weekend, and it's a week-to-week thing. But other than that, we're playing everything to win games here, and so that's how we're playing it tonight.
This series has always been special. It's always tightly contested. It's been a disappointing year for Air Force, but you're expecting 2 tightly contested games. What do you guys need to do to go in with momentum next weekend?
I think a couple things. Your special teams are always going to be important come playoff time, and at this time of year, your discipline's going to be important as well. We want to break out pucks cleanly, and we want to get in on the forecheck. So those are areas that we're trying to get a little bit better at, and then you've got your individual matchups because you're playing Air Force. A different team would bring other obstacles, but we just want a complete 60 minutes of focus and energy.
I know the goal is much bigger, but what does it mean to you to win your 5th regular season Atlantic Hockey Championship?
Well, it means a lot to us. I mean, we've been 17 years. That was our 8th championship in 17 years as far as regular season and playoff. And I told the guys at 8 that we still got room for 9 here this year as well. So I just think it's, the consistency that we're looking for is that, that we want to be known as a championship team, and you've got to keep accumulating those. And as we know that they're not easy. We know it from year to year. We know it within a single year. We haven't had an easy game this year. So we know it's hard fighting, and so I'm proud of the guys, particularly when you do it over the length of 26 games. So we were the best team over that period of time, and now you shorten that tournament up a little bit, and then you get a little single game elimination at the end for a championship. Things can happen awfully quickly, and you don't have time to regroup. You've got to be ready for each game. So I think that's the main thing, is really where's our mental mindset, and that's going to be important starting here tonight.
You look so relaxed. You're not stressed.
Yeah, on the outside. On the inside, though, you're always ready, and you're excited for your players. Playing games are the best part of it. The hard work's done during the week, but we're excited for another weekend.
All the best to you tonight, Wayne. That's head coach Wade Wilson. Kevin, let's send it back up to you, buddy.
All right, Johnny, thank you so much. Well, since joining Atlantic Hockey with RIT in 2006, Air Force has been the most successful program in the league. The Falcons have claimed 7 AHA tournament championships while losing just once in the title game, and that was last year to AIC. The Falcons beat the weather and arrived in Rochester on Wednesday night. It will be strange not to see Frank Serratori's team in the postseason. The Air Force head coach not a fan of this year's format. Nobody is, but he believes his team has something to play for this weekend.
And for us, obviously we're out of the playoffs, but this program is going to move on, and we are going to bounce back. And I can tell you, I can't think of a better scenario. I can't think of a worse scenario of not making the playoffs, but I can't think of a better scenario on the final weekend of the year than to be matched up against the regular season champion. I mean, for us to send our seniors off in first-class style, to establish a foundation, a building block, a cornerstone for the future, I can't think of a better way than to come in and hopefully have success against the regular season champion in the final series of the year.
Yeah, now that his team is out, I asked Frank Serratori this morning who he liked in the upcoming postseason tournament, and he thinks RIT and AIC are the teams to beat, while Holy Cross is a dark horse. Now, here is how things shape up in Atlantic Hockey at the moment, as 2 through 8 has still yet to be decided. Sacred Heart can lock up the 2 with a win at AIC tonight. Holy Cross is currently in 4th by 2 points. If they hold on, they would host a quarterfinal series next weekend. Right now, Mercyhurst in the 8th spot. If it stays that way, they'll be coming to Rochester to face the Tigers next weekend. Well, still to come on Pregame Live, we'll flash back to the last time the Falcons visited Rochester. Plus, after 20 years at the helm, Atlantic Hockey's commissioner is retiring following this season. Coming up, we'll revisit our conversation with Bob DiGregorio. But first, number 19 for RIT is defenseman Matt Kellenberger. The grad transfer from Princeton has made a big impact along the blue line with his new Tiger team this season. Kellenberger joins our Kim Coffey live ringside next as our coverage rolls on from the Gene Policini Center. RIT and Air Force at 7:05. This is Pregame Live. Back here on Pregame Live from the Gene Policini Center at RIT, the Air Force Academy Back in town to face the Tigers, the Falcons have won 7 of their 10 meetings with RIT in this building. Elsewhere in Atlantic hockey tonight, we will be scoreboard watching as we hope to get a little more clarity on the postseason picture. It's a battle for second place, as I mentioned earlier, at AIC tonight as they host Sacred Heart. Army is at Bentley, Canisius is at Holy Cross, and Niagara visits Mercyhurst in Erie. 4th place through 8th place, separated by just 4 points. We'll be keeping track of it all night long for you. In the net for RIT tonight will be number 30, Tommy Scarfoni. It'll be the Montreal native's 29th start of the season. Scarfoni, one of the best in Atlantic hockey, is now 18-9-1 on the year with a 2.45 goals against average. For Air Force head coach Frank Serratori, we'll go with number 51, Mason Balboa. Tonight will be the Colorado Springs native's 9th start of the season and first in 5 games. Balboa 4-4 this season with a 3.05 goals against. Well, after playing and graduating from the Princeton Tigers, defenseman Matt Kellenberger decided to transfer to RIT, where he's pursuing an MBA and a league championship on the ice with his new Tiger teammates. Kellenberger standing by live now with our Kim Coffey. Kimmy?
Matt, you guys get to wrap up the regular season here at home. First of all, how's everybody feeling heading into tonight, knowing you guys already clinched the #1 spot in the conference?
Yeah, I think we're really excited for it. Definitely, to be able to play at home for the whole playoffs is super exciting. This crowd is awesome. So I think we're just looking to have a really good weekend here, get back to kind of what we do really well, and I think we'll hopefully be able to take that into playoffs.
What are some of the expectations for tonight and tomorrow, especially taking on a team that's already been eliminated from the postseason? What are some of the things you guys want to work on?
Yeah, I think, we worked on lots of stuff in practice already this week, and we really want to get back to our game for the playoffs, So I think just trying to get pucks in deep and getting lots of pucks to the net. I think when we're able to work in their end, we're probably one of the best teams around at that. So, just kind of being able to try and work the puck in there and get everybody involved is something that I think we're excited to do this weekend.
What are you expecting to see from Air Force?
They're a big, strong, physical team. So, like you said, they've already been eliminated. So I expect lots of pride from them, and I'm sure it'll be a tight game as well. So,
Matt, thanks so much, and good luck tonight.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Kevin?
All right, Kim, thanks so much. They usually are great matchups between these two programs. Well, this past April, Bob DiGregorio announced that this would be his final season as commissioner of Atlantic Hockey and College Hockey America. Over his 2 decades leading the AHA, the conference has seen tremendous growth on and off the ice. The Tigers have played a major role in the league's success.
Atlantic hockey has changed a lot over Bob DiGregorio's 20 years as commissioner, but the addition of RIT and Air Force in 2006 was a game changer.
I knew how strong their program was. I had been to Ritter Arena, and a lot of, and you can ask coaches in our league, they'll tell you, Jesus, those fans from RIT, God, I can't stand them, but I wish they were mine, because they're so intense and they're there. They electrified the building with the great games that have taken place on the ice. So I knew that they would be a great addition to the league. It's funny, I was looking at the Jack Riley Trophy today, and the number of times that RIT and Air Force are on here is, the tournament winners representing us in the NCAAs. And so that tells you that the addition of those 2 schools and the impact that they had and the exposure that they helped garner for the league.
Of course, the biggest exposure for Atlantic hockey came thanks to RIT, when the Tigers reached the 2010 Frozen Four.
They're going dancing to the Frozen Four in Detroit.
I wish it had happened more than once in my 20-year history. Was the year that RIT obviously advanced to the Frozen Four, and to see all those orange and white and orange and black fans T-shirts and the band and the corner crew there, it was just really, really great.
Atlantic hockey will return to 11 teams next season as Robert Morris restarts its program. But DiGregorio believes there's still room for growth.
I know some coaches are maybe opposed to it, but I'd like to see him get a 12 team and get back to that balanced schedule, because that will help everybody. And I mean, there's a lot of creative things you can do that will help the league prosper and grow.
Michelle Morgan will replace DiGregorio as commissioner in April, and he believes the league will continue to get stronger.
The new commissioner has been named, and I wish her well, and I hope she will continue the tradition and grow it. And, now it's going to be nice to be a fan and on the sidelines, but I think it will continue to get stronger. I think it will continue to prosper. And as I said earlier, I'd love to see both men's and women's ice hockey grow more and create more in the NCAA, create more opportunities for teams to play in the national tournament.
Yeah, with the addition of Robert Morris, DiGregorio is recommending that the Atlantic Hockey Playoff format include all 11 teams once again next season. Of course, the Board of Directors will decide on that in April. The CHA Board of Directors has already voted to include all 6 members in the postseason next year. Of course, RIT women's hockey missing out this year. Meanwhile, the two-time defending national championship men's lacrosse team here at RIT will host Bates in Geneva tomorrow afternoon. That's Geneva, New York. You can catch our live coverage of RIT men's lacrosse as we go on the road on the RIT Athletics app on your Apple, Android, Roku, or Amazon Fire TV. Tigers and Bobcats get started at 1 o'clock tomorrow, and then we'll be back for pregame at 4:30. On the RIT Athletics scoreboard, the baseball season has begun too. Of course, not here in Rochester. It's miserable. The Tigers in Washington, D.C. for the Bison Baseball Classic hosted by Gallaudet University. Tigers victorious in Game 1. 10-1 winners over Washington College of Maryland. Jaron Moses had 2 RBIs. Tigers face SUNY Canton tomorrow in D.C. Well, still to come here tonight, John and Gene will join us to highlight who we should be watching here this evening. Plus, RIT Associate Head Coach David Salako will join us to break down tonight's matchup with the Air Force Academy. That's all straight ahead on your home for Tiger Hockey. You're watching Pregame Live. It's so cold, I hope they're knitting me a sweater.
Able to bounce back up as Rhyme with it. Rhyme going in. The poke check attempt by Andriano, and he misses, and that will be a goal. Will it ahead, and that's deflected wide. Kobe Walker behind the net is getting his via Schilling. Shot! Yes. It's a goal! Ooh, nice pass to Kruper. Kruper walking in, fires and scores on senior night. Ryan Kruper, beautiful goal. Tigers take a 2-1 lead off his stick. Cook, shot, scores.
Oh boy, look at that.
Screen in front.
Yep.
See if it was deflected with the shot. It's Brandon Cook. Another blast from Brubaker off a skate. Moritz! Caleb Moritz with the goal. A power play goal 1 minute into this and 4 minutes remaining in the major penalty. Luke Manning taking it himself. Short-handed goal for Luke Manning. We are tied at 3. Bruce. Tigers advancing here. As McKay going in. McKay shoots and in! It's in! Chris McKay has put the Tigers ahead. How about that, John?
Seal it.
Dupuy to Calverley.
Yes.
Ahead to Cameron going in. Cameron scores, and the Tigers take a 5-3 lead with 1:16 remaining.
Can you say 3 seed?
Yeah, we never got to see the 3 seed. Hard to believe it's been 3 years since Air Force was last here in Rochester, and unfortunately, we all remember that game right there ended up being the final game of that season that year, as the Tigers and Falcons never ended up meeting in the postseason 2 weeks later. The AHA postseason, along with so many other things, canceled because of the COVID-19 pandemic. As we welcome you back inside the Gene Policini Center here at RIT, where you're watching RIT Hockey Pregame Live, presented by Taylor the Builders. We continue our countdown to puck drop between RIT and Air Force. That coming up at 7:05 here tonight. As always, Gene Battaglia and John DiTullio will have the call for you once again here tonight. And guys, you've both called a lot of RIT Air Force matchups over the years, including conference championship games, but I think This has got to be the first time these two will meet with nothing on the line. RIT already locking up the top seed in Air Force, already been eliminated from playoff contention.
Yeah, Kevin, and good evening to you. John, it kind of feels like week 18
Yes.
of the NFL season if you got things wrapped up.
If Air Force had punched their playoff ticket, I think,
Yeah.
all right, at least we can say they potentially could meet again in the postseason. But you're right, this is week 18 of the NFL season. all about RIT, though, being that #1 seed.
It's a good opportunity to work on some things as we're happy to be joined by Associate Head Coach Dave Insulaco. Dave, what are you looking for, before we start talking about Air Force, what are you looking for out of your own team here tonight?
We're treating this as a playoff game for our group. We want to get out to a good start. We want to score first, and we want to build from there. We want to cut down on the volume of penalties that we've taken, and we want to be good on special teams. So we're excited to play tonight, and we're looking forward to a good challenge.
Hey, you look at Air Force, Dave, they were preseason, they were picked to finish 3rd in the conference. They've had injuries, they have had some trouble scoring goals, but every time you guys play, it's always tightly contested. Just go back to October where you guys played a couple of close games out there in Colorado.
Yeah, we met last year in the conference semifinals, and unfortunately, we came out on the losing end of that. And they're always good games when you play Air Force. Frank does a great job with his group, and they're a prideful group, and I expect their best tonight.
Yeah, they're down to the 3rd-string goalie, Balboa. Give us a scouting report. What do you see on film here?
I haven't really watched them. I don't really look at goalies all that closely. I want our guys to shoot the puck more and crash the net harder. I think our shot volume needs to improve. So we're looking forward to a good test on him tonight.
Dave, we talked with Wayne in the pregame about, Kobe Walker's going to be out. The impact that has on your team, not having Kobe Walker here for at least the next month, potentially.
That's going to be huge, but we have other leaders in the room. We have other captains in the room, and we need some guys that to step up and fill the void. He'll be dearly missed, but I think we got a group that can step to the table and pick up the slack in his absence.
Dave, always appreciate your time. Go get him tonight.
Thank you.
Dave Insulaco, Associate Head Coach here at RIT, where maybe it's just more clean up some things if you're RIT tonight. Not really concerned that much about the opponent.
Week 18 or the final preseason game. But Wayne says they're not going to rest guys. At least no plans on resting guys and keeping the same lines and same rotations.
Yeah, those highlights from the last time we had Leap Year Day, we all remember what happened next. But interesting that our player to watch actually started the scoring that night 3 years ago. Now he's a senior. Willie Rhyme, our player to watch.
When you look at Willie Rhyme, he's one of the few guys who has been consistent for Air Force. 11 goals on the season, 25 points. He is tied, in fact, with the team lead with 11 goals. One of the few seniors, and they brought everybody back from last year. Only one guy did not return to Air Force from a year ago. Willie Rhyme has held up his end. He's one of the guys who's been able to contribute consistently in terms of scoring goals.
Willie Rhyme, Brandon Cook, Bennett Norland, and Luke Rowe, the only players left who were here the last time Air Force played in the Policini. For RIT, our player to watch, and we want to point him out because sometimes I think he gets overlooked, Aiden Hansen-Bukata is having a fantastic season.
Right? It's maybe quietly, but when we watch him here, 7th in the country in terms of when you look at assists per game. In fact, he is 2nd in Atlantic hockey with 20. When you look at the amount of assists, 27 assists. It's incredible. 7th in the country in terms of tallying assists per game. He is a great two-way player. He's one of the anchors on that blue line. There's no question about the year he's had. It's been sensational for Wayne and this Tiger team.
Kevin, once we get rolling, we know this is going to be a fantastic game tonight. Looking forward to the puck drop here at 7:05.
Absolutely, guys. Always is when Air Force is in town. When we come back, the Atlantic hockey postseason begins 1 week from tonight. We'll tell you how you can be part of the action next. You're watching RIT Hockey Pregame Live. Back here on Pregame Live tonight, marking the 3rd meeting between these two programs this season. The Tigers and Falcons split their first 2 games out in Colorado Springs back in October. The regular season comes to an end tomorrow. RIT will honor the class of 2023 prior to face-off with the Falcons, and we will carry the senior ceremony live right here for you on Flow Hockey. The postseason, as I mentioned, begins next Friday night with Game 1 of the best-of-3 quarterfinal series. RIT will host the 8th seed. Tickets on sale now at the Policini Center box office, or you can get your playoff seats right now at RITtickets.com. Well, that'll do it for Pregame Live. Up next, John and Gene will have all the action for you, and we'll see you back here for the intermission report. Until then, enjoy the game. RIT Air Force begins right now.